was hauling frozen poultry out of Colorado, running east through Wyoming on a route I knew so well I could have driven it blindfolded. Same asphalt scars, same endless fencing, same nothingness stretching in every direction like the world had been abandoned halfway through creation. Night runs were my preference. Fewer cars, fewer idiots. Just the hum of the engine and the white noise of tires chewing pavement. It was late, somewhere around 2:30 in the morning. I remember because I'd just checked the dash clock and calculated how long I could push before my mandatory break. Everything was normal until it wasn't. My GPS froze. Not slowly, instant. Screen locked, then went black. No warning, no stutter. Just dead. That happens out here. Wyoming eats signals for breakfast. Cell service disappears if you drift a foot too far from the road. I didn't even swear. Just tapped the screen once, then ignored it. I knew the route. 10 minutes later, I saw flashing amber lights ahead. At first, I thought it was a maintenance vehicle, snowplow maybe. Then, the shape resolved, a wide turnout, floodlights on poles, reflective signage, a way station. I felt my stomach tighten. That didn't make sense. The last active way station on this stretch was over 70 miles back, and it didn't operate overnight. I knew that for a fact. I'd argued with a DOT officer about it 2 winters ago. Still, the sign was there. Big, clean, reflective letters glowing in my headlights. All trucks must stop when open. No posted hours, no bypass lane, just a command. I slowed. The moment my foot eased off the accelerator, my instincts started screaming. Not fear, not yet. Just that deep animal awareness that something in the environment didn't add up. The lot was empty. No other rigs, no patrol SUVs, no DOT pickups, no cameras mounted on poles, just light, buzzing, flickering, uneven, the kind of light that hums like a dying insect. I rolled closer and saw the booth. Small, older style, the kind they phased out years ago. Paint faded, windows dark. And next to it stood a man. Reflective vest, hard hat, hands clasped behind his back, face hidden under a low cap. He waved me forward with 2 fingers, not rushed, not aggressive, casual. That was the first thing that really bothered me. Real dock guys don't wave. They point. They bark. They act like they own the road. This guy looked like he was waiting for a bus. I brought the rig to a stop short of the booth, leaving extra space. Years of habit. Didn't kill the engine. Didn't release the brakes. I cracked the window an inch. Cold air slid in. "Evening," he said. Too calm, too smooth. "Logbook." No greeting, no badge display, no flashlight scan of the cab. I told him I'd already cleared inspection earlier that night, and that the station back west was closed. My voice stayed neutral, professional. He smiled. Not friendly, sharp, thin, like he'd practiced it. "Pull forward," he said. "We'll sort it out." Every alarm in my head went off at once. His vest was spotless, no dust, no road grime, no salt stains. Anyone who worked roadside in Wyoming looked like hell by midnight. This guy looked fresh out of a plastic bag. I scanned behind him. No radio, no cables, no cameras, no generator hum. Silence. I shook my head. "I'm on a tight clock. I'll catch the next open station." That's when his smile disappeared. Just dropped, like a switch flipping. He took a step back and raised his hand. And from behind the booth, 3 more men stepped into the light. No uniforms, no vests, no markings. One of them held something metal, short, heavy, that flashed once under the floodlight. I didn't think. I didn't ask questions. I stomped the accelerator. The engine roared. turbo screaming as 30 tons surged forward. The man jumped back. One of the others reached out stupidly like he could stop me. As I blasted past the booth, I caught a glimpse sideways. The sign. From the side, it was obvious. Bolted onto a rusted flatbed trailer, spray-painted supports, temporary wiring. Fake. The booth windows were dark because there was no power. As I hit the road, headlights flared in my mirror. A pickup, old, lifted. No company markings. It pulled out fast. Too fast. I pushed the rig harder than I should have. Speed limiter screaming at me, trailer swaying slightly as wind caught it. The pickup stayed with me. No high beams, no horn, just presence. 20 minutes felt like hours. Every mile marker crawled by. Every exit was empty, no traffic, no cell signal. I kept my eyes forward and my hands steady. Then, ahead, faint, distant red and blue lights. State Patrol. I laid on the air horn like my life depended on it. The pickup vanished, just peeled off into the dark like it had never existed. I didn't slow until I was parked under floodlights, with 2 troopers walking toward my cab, hands resting near their belts. They listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't smile. When I finished, one of them said quietly, "There hasn't been a way station on that road in over 20 years. The other nodded. And no record of temporary operations, no permits, nothing. They searched the turnout, nothing, no booth, no sign, no tire tracks, just empty asphalt. I didn't argue. I signed my statement and drove until the sun came up. I still run nights. But every time I see amber lights in the distance, my foot hovers over the brake a little longer than it should. Some stops aren't inspections, and some roads are hunting grounds. I run coast to coast, always have. Refrigerated loads, dry vans, doesn't matter. Miles are miles. After a while, every state blurs into the same rest stops, the same fuel islands, the same tired faces behind steering wheels. That night, I was in Missouri, big truck stop, one of the chain ones. Bright lights, packed lot, idling engines humming like a swarm of insects. You could smell diesel, fried food, stale coffee, the usual. If there's such a thing as a safe place to park a rig, that was it. Or so I thought. I shut down around midnight. Did my routine the way I always do. Tug on the door handles, glance at the mirrors, quick walk around. Nothing out of place. No one lingering too close. No weird vibes. I locked the doors. I know I locked them. By 2:30 a.m., the lot had quieted down. Not silent, it never is, but muted. Engines cycling on and off, air brakes sighing, a train horn somewhere far off. I was dead asleep when something pulled me out of it. Breathing. Not the heavy, unconscious kind you hear from yourself. This was slow, deliberate, controlled, measured. I didn't open my eyes. Every muscle in my body locked up at once. Heart started pounding so hard I was sure whoever it was could hear it. The sound wasn't coming from outside, it was inside the cab. Inside the sleeper. I stayed perfectly still. Didn't shift. Didn't even swallow. I counted my breaths. Shallow, quiet. That's when I noticed the curtain. It was open an inch. I never leave it like that. Ever. I close it tight every time. Habit drilled into me over years. Then another sense kicked in. Smell, perfume, cheap, sweet. Overpowering in a closed space, the kind that sticks in your throat. Not something you'd expect in a sleeper full of sweat, fabric cleaner, and diesel fumes. Wrong didn't even begin to cover it. Something shifted near the foot of the bunk. Just enough movement to confirm I wasn't imagining it. Slowly, painfully slowly, I slid my hand under the pillow. My fingers closed around the tire thumper I keep there. Solid wood, familiar weight. Not much, but better than empty hands. That's when she spoke. "What are you doing?" she whispered. Soft voice, calm, no panic. I snapped upright, heart exploding in my chest, thumper raised. She froze. Early 20s maybe, dirty hoodie pulled up, hair tucked inside. Face pale but composed. Eyes steady, too steady. She didn't scream, didn't flinch, didn't move. "I just needed a place to sleep," she said. No fear in her voice, none at all. "How did you get in?" I demanded. My voice sounded wrong to my own ears, tight, controlled, louder than I meant. She tilted her head slightly and smiled. "You forgot to lock up?" I hadn't. I know my routine, I know my hands, I know the sound those locks make. I tightened my grip on the thumper. "Get out, now." She didn't move. Instead, she glanced toward the driver's side door. That's when I heard it. A knock. Not hard, not aggressive, just there. Then another. Two male voices outside, low, close, expectant. They weren't asking anything, they weren't announcing themselves, they were waiting. My stomach dropped. She looked back at me and said quietly, "Don't scream. They'll hear." That's when everything snapped into place. The calm, the confidence, the fact she wasn't afraid of me at all. I didn't answer her. I leaned forward and slammed my palm down on the air horn, full blast. The cab exploded with sound. The horn screamed through the lot, echoing off trailers and fuel canopies. Heads popped up. Lights flicked on. Engines revved. The knocking stopped instantly. Footsteps, fast, retreating, slapped against pavement. The woman's calm shattered. She bolted for the door. I lunged, grabbing her sleeve. Fabric ripped in my hand as she twisted free and vanished out the passenger side, melting into the maze of trucks and shadows like she'd rehearsed it. I kept the horn down for a full 5 seconds. People were staring now. Someone shouted. Another trucker leaned out his window. I locked the doors again, checked them twice. Hands shaking. Police showed up quick. Big stop, good response time. I told them everything. They nodded like they'd heard it before. Because they had. One officer said it straight. "It's a setup. She gets inside, unlocks the door, distracts you. The guys outside do the rest." I asked what the rest meant. He didn't answer right away. "Robbery," he said finally, "sometimes worse." They never found them. No cameras caught clear faces, no plates, nothing. Too many people. Too much movement. I finished the night sitting upright, back against the bunk wall, thumper in my lap, watching the doors like they might open on their own. Now, every lock gets checked twice, curtain stays sealed, and I don't park unless there are cameras overhead. I didn't hesitate. I jerked the wheel left. The truck beside me reacted instantly, too late. His trailer clipped mine. Metal screamed. Sparks exploded into the darkness like fireworks. My steering wheel wrenched violently as the impact shoved my trailer sideways. I forced it back. The lead truck slammed his brakes. I punched the accelerator. I hit the gate at speed. Chain link snapped and folded under the bumper. The impact rattled my teeth. Alarms began to scream somewhere inside the yard. I leaned on the air horn, full blast, long, continuous, deafening. Guards spilled out of a small building shouting, flashlights swinging wildly. Behind me, chaos. The convoy broke formation instantly. The lead truck peeled off into the dark. The rear truck swerved, fishtailed, disappeared down the road. The one that clipped me reversed hard, lights flashing once, then gone. Silence returned, broken only by my idling engine and the distant wind. I sat there shaking, hands locked on the wheel, breath shallow and fast. Sheriff deputies arrived 20 minutes later. They listened, took notes, examined the damage. One of them looked at me for a long moment and said quietly, "You're the 7th this month." He told me they'd been forcing trucks to stop in remote areas, cargo theft mostly, sometimes worse. Sometimes the drivers were never found. No cameras, no plates, different trucks every time. Professional. They never caught them. And every time I drive that stretch of road now, I think about how close I came. Not to losing the load, but to vanishing completely, like I'd never been there at all. It started like any other night run. Interstate 90, Montana side. Late winter. The kind of cold that doesn't scream, it just seeps into everything. The sky was moonless, the clouds low and heavy pressing down on the road. Snow wasn't falling straight. It drifted sideways, thin and sharp, carried by a steady crosswind that nudged the trailer just enough to keep me alert. I'd been driving for hours. No radio, no music. Just engine hum, tire noise, and the soft rattle of chains somewhere deep in the trailer frame. Out here, you learn to respect silence. It means no one's around. And usually that's a good thing. That's when I noticed the headlights. Another semi far back at first. Same lane, same speed. Normal. Truckers pace each other all the time, especially at night. Sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's just comfort, knowing you're not the only moving thing in a frozen, empty world. A few minutes later, he flashed his headlights twice. Quick, clean, a courtesy signal. I tapped my marker lights in response, routine, automatic. Then I realized something. He wasn't passing. He wasn't dropping back either. He was locked to my speed perfectly, not a mile per hour more, not less. I checked my mirrors. Everything looked fine. Snow haze, dark trees, endless asphalt. 5 minutes passed. Then 10, still there. That's when a second set of headlights appeared, this time in my left mirror. Another rig. He eased up alongside my trailer, not quite pulling even with the cab. Close enough that I could see the outline of his grill through the snow. Too close for comfort, especially with wind pushing sideways. I slowed slightly. So did he. I accelerated. He matched it instantly. That's when my stomach tightened, because this wasn't random anymore. A third truck appeared behind me, headlights snapping on as if someone had flipped a switch. He closed the gap fast, then settled in tight and closer than safe following distance, especially in winter conditions. 3 trucks, one ahead, one beside, one behind, all holding formation. I reached for the CB. Static hissed. Then a voice cut through. Calm. Male. No accent I could place. "Nice and easy, driver." My hand froze on the mic. "Take the next turnout." Not a threat, not shouted, just matter of fact, like he was telling me the weather. I didn't respond. My eyes scanned the road ahead. According to memory, the next turnout was unlit, just gravel and snowbanks. No services, no cameras, no help. I shook my head, even though he couldn't see me. The truck ahead drifted slightly slower. The one behind edged closer. I could barely see his bumper now. The one on my left inched closer too. So close, I could hear the whistle of air between our trailers. CB crackled again. "We're not asking." That's when I knew. This wasn't road rage. This wasn't intimidation for fun. This was organized. I tried braking lightly. The rear truck matched me perfectly. No hesitation, like he'd anticipated it. I tried accelerating hard. All three moved with me, engines roaring in unison. My pulse pounded in my ears. Every training instinct screamed at me to stay calm, stay predictable. But predictability was exactly what they were counting on. I scanned the right shoulder. Snowbanks. No escape. Left side? Same. Then, far ahead through the snow, I saw lights. A maintenance yard, chain link fence, floodlights, equipment silhouettes. Hope